Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome on board Waypoints Aviation. We're back in our Airbus A320 and today we're in Doha. So I've just come back from spending the last 2 days flying in a 737 NG. By profession, I am an instructor, and I do teach. So I'm qualified on Boeing, the 737 Classic, all the way to the NG. Haven't quite gotten the Max yet. Not even sure if I want to. And and of course I'm on the Airbus as well as Bombardier, Boeing 777 and Boeing 747. So these are my babies. Also the Bombardier Challenger, which is my all-time favorite. So these are the aircrafts I kind of work on. And so yeah, I'm coming back today after spending 2 days in the NG simulator. And you know what, Boeing is great. Boeing is nice. I really like it. It's a different kind of aeroplane altogether. But you know what? Nothing makes me happier than to come back and basically be in the Airbus cockpit, because I don't know, I think the most of you are here on this channel because you're also Airbus fans, and so am I. I mean, the Boeing is great. It's manual, it's fun. I'm sure there's a lot of debates which is better, Airbus, which is Airbus or Boeing, whatever. Boeing is fun. You got a more manual feel. You got to trim all the time, power, pitch, all that stuff you got to set. But when I'm doing multiple rotations, I'd like to be in the Airbus. I like the comfort of having my little side stick right here that I can manipulate and fly. I like having the tray table in front of me, so it's a little bit more comfortable. I like when I get over here and it's a long flight, I stretch back, put my footrest down, relax. I like the fact that it automatically trims for me. There's a lot of things I like about the Airbus compared to other airplanes. Now I do respect other airplanes. I think they are awesome in their own right. But stand by, few APU fighters coming on. All right, good. But I'm an Airbus fan, so yeah. Let me know in the comments below what do you guys prefer. Are you an Airbus fan? Are you a Boeing fan? Or are you like me, you respect all airplanes? So I don't care. I mean, if it flies, it has my attention. End of the day, I'm a pilot, not a fanboy. So, but if I had a preference, this is where I'd like to be, in the Airbus. It's a wonderful, wonderful plane to fly. So if you've been following us along on our adventures around the world, last time we flew from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. We did a quick stopover in Bahrain, in Manama. Manama. Yeah, now with that song and that mental image in your head, let's try and get going. So yeah, and then from Bahrain we quickly took off again and came over here to Doha. We parked at gate number Charlie 7, which is where we are right now, and just gonna get ready for our flight. Today we're going to Kuwait City in Kuwait. All right, so we had a request from a subscriber, and he thank you again for subscribing. He requested that we do a night flight. So since we're doing this channel for you guys, it's only fair that I do a night flight. So here we are, it's night time in Doha, and we're going to be flying through the night over to Kuwait. So I'm going to jump into flight ops mode right now, and we're going to plan our flight, then we're going to get going. All right, so come along for the ride, and let's have some fun. Let's take this plane to Kuwait, and once we get there we can have some awesome shawarmas and enjoy. All right, see you guys at flight ops. Alrighty, flight plan mode. Let's get this thing going. All right, I'm here on my trusty MacBook, and we're gonna go over the sim brief, dispatch, and we're going to go from, let me see here, create new flight plan, airline. As always, waypoints Aviation. Flight number is always 320. Departing Oscar Tango Hotel Hotel, which is Hamad International. Oscar Kilo Kilo Kilo. All right. And I'm gonna leave this in auto for now, and I'm gonna pick my aircraft, and let's see what it says as an alternate. It's yeah, so it's going to give us OEDF, which is Dammam in Saudi Arabia. That works for me. All right, no worries. All right, so here we are. That's where you'll find Doha. That's where we are right now, flying northbound and then towards the west. So it's a northwesterly bound route all the way into Kuwait. All right, our cost index is going to be 25, and as always, I do not need ETOPS planning. I don't need step climbs. Runway NSLS I can keep on. No times, FIR no times, that's good. Okay, taxi out time, I'm going to keep it at 20. Taxi in, I'm going to put at 10 because they're both large airports, so should be good. Contingency auto reserves, I'd like 45 minutes. One alternate's good enough for me. And this is a 1 hour 35 minutes scheduled block time. Taking off on 34 right, estimating to land on 33 right in Kuwait. Looking at our flight plan, we're expecting, so runway 34 right, the Lubet 1 Zulu SID to Lubet Tango 934 to Obman Lima 768 to Egmore Mike 444 Rumsey Mike 600 to Kumbo and Alpha 453 to Deb T, where we can do the Deb T3 Charlie arrival star onto runway 33 right. Okay, so that's the flight plan, that's the routing information we've got. In terms of cruising flight level, I'm gonna take 21,000, but I'll change that along the way as the MCDU tells me, whichever one is whatever's the optimum, I'm gonna go with that on the MCDU. And the last thing we want to insert here would be our passengers. We are fully loaded with 4 tons of freight, so I'm going to keep that as auto. Zero fuel weight today as per our load sheet is 59 tons 343. All right, there we go. So that's pretty much set up, and all we got to do now is generate the flight. 59343. Okay, so runway 34 makes sense because the METAR information for Doha, it's coming on your screen right now. Winds are 340 at 22 knots. Okay, cab okay. Temperature 39, dew point 11, QNH 1008. No significant change. You know, with 22 knots as a wind, I would love to have some significant change for the lower. But okay, if that's what Mother Nature wants to give us, we'll take it. All right, fine. Got our routing information all good over here. Estimating our takeoff weight at 66.2 tons. Still lighter than my ex-wife. We're carrying with us 7.1 tons of fuel. And there's our routing information right over there. Okay, got that done. So takeoff weight is 66,265. Coming over to our performance calculator, Airbus A320 and 66265. Remember that number, 66265. Our CG today, as per the load sheet, is 27.9%. All right, keeping it at flaps 1 and air conditioning definitely on. Anti-ice, no need. Oscar Tango Hotel Hotel, and gonna go here, Oscar Tango Hotel Hotel, and we're gonna take Oscar Tango Hotel Hotel. Usually it picks it up. Anyway, it's not there, so don't worry about that. The runway length, so if it doesn't get it, you're gonna have to do it manually. So that's where Navigraph comes in. Bring up the airport, which is Oscar Tango Hotel Hotel, come up to taxis, and we're looking at the 20-9 plate. And if you look, so there's runway 34 right, and the distance, the length is 15,912. So in feet, 15912. All right, and the runway direction is 336 degrees. Dry. The airport elevation, you can get it from the same chart, which is over here somewhere. Here we go. Airport elevation 13 feet above sea level. All right, QNH today. Let's get the METAR. Let's see if it picks it up. Oh, it did. It picked it up. 1008 39 is what it says. 340 22 knots. Hallelujah. All right. Calculate. Speeds are going to be 154, 154, 159 with a trim of up 0.1, pretty much right there in the null zone, more or less. Flex takeoff today at 68 degrees, and our thrust reduction acceleration will be 813. Okay, I've got all that down. Let's quickly look at the charts. So in terms of our parking, we were parked over at Charlie, so apron Charlie I believe is here. Charlie 7 is where we park, right over here. So it's a quick pushback onto Echo 1. We can make a left, and then we'll take the outer taxiway, taxiway Charlie, all the way down, and that's going to bring us to, so right along taxiway Charlie all the way down to Alpha 1 or Alpha. Turn onto runway 34 right, and away we go. Looking at our SID, it's going to be, my short-term memory failing me, the Lubet 1 Zulu. So coming back to our charts, SID Lubet. Let's find it here. Here we go. 1 Zulu. All right, Lubet 1 Zulu. That's what it's going to look like. I'm referring to plate number 20-3 Delta, effective the 18th of May. It's an RNAV SID for Doha, Qatar. It's a Jepson plate, by the way. All right, so this entails us taking off on runway 34 right, 500 feet at Atib, then revving 2,500 feet or higher, maximum speed 230 knots. Then to Dembo 4000, and yeah, Dembo 4000, and stand by. I just had a momentary brain hemorrhage. All right, here we go. All the way down here, and then over to Amissa, I would say. Oh no, Debil Alnak. All right, and then from here, so you can see the Lubet 1 Zulu, we need to go this way. So from Dembo we make a left to 345 degrees to Debil, then Alnak. At Patum we're going to make a right hand turn to 318 degrees, which will place us on the Lubet 1 Zulu, all the way to Missile, I don't know. And then eventually at Lubet, so we've got to be at flight level 180 or higher over there. Okay, so that's the routing information to get out of Doha. And so yeah, we've got our speeds, we've looked at our charts. In case of an immediate return, we're going to come back and do an ILS on the same runway, which is runway 34 right ILS, and that's the chart. I'll have it linked in the description below. Okay, so that's about it for the flight planning stage. Now we get over to the sim, and let's get back in the cockpit, prepare this, get going. All right, so come with me now back over to the cockpit. See you guys there. Okay, time to program the MCDU. All right, so let's go. Constraints on, turn on to flight plan mode. Got about 40 miles on the navigation display. Coming down to the MCDU, gonna choose data, aircraft status. We're gonna go clear the scratch pad. Always keep a clean scratch pad. All right, A320-200 CFM56, and the database is valid. Going to the initial page, Oscar Tango Hotel Hotel is where we're starting from. Oscar Kilo 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 is where we're going to. The alternate today is going to be Oscar Echo Delta Foxtrot, and it's going to be waypoints Aviation 320, our usual flight number, cost mix of 25, cruising flight level of 210, but we're going to change that as we get along. Ground temperature today is 39 degrees. All right, DIF flight plan, Oscar Tango Hotel Hotel. Departures, we're going to take runway 34 right, and we're doing the Lubet 1 Zulu. So Lubet 1 Zulu selected, cross-checked, inserted. Now as we cycle along, our waypoint, we find Lubet, we go into Lubet, we go to Airways, because we're going to be jumping onto the Tango 934 airway, and then from there we're going to get onto Obmon, put that there. From Obmon we're going to cycle down to Lima 768 airway, and from there we're jumping onto Egmore, put that there. From Egmore we're jumping onto the Mike 444 onto Ramsey, RAMSI. Gordon Ramsay, if you're watching, you got a waypoint named after your family.
Good. It's really a waste. Wow. No, I mean.
All right. After that, we're going to the Mike 600 airway, and we're gonna exit that at Kumbo, KUMBO, and there. From Kumbo, we're going to the Alpha 453 airway to exit at Debti, DEBTI, put that in there. And from Debti, we're expecting the Debti 3 Charlie star arrival. So insert that, and we're gonna go arrivals into Oscar Kilo Kilo Kilo. That's Kuwait City right there, arrival. And what do we have here? We've got ILSs, we have VORs, we have RNAVs. Let's take a simple ILS 33, okay, today. So ILS 33 right is what it's telling us. So ILS Zulu 33 right, and the SID is going to be Debti 3 Charlie. So Debti 3 Charlie inserted, and we're going to insert that. Now we cycle along the waypoints, looking for any discontinuities along the way. Everything looks good, and yep, from there we're gonna get onto, so from here we get onto the Debti 3 Charlie airway, star, and all the way down to the ILS. It's pretty much straight in, okay, provided that the weather stays the same. Secondary flight plan, excuse me, copy active. I'm gonna take any point in the middle and put Oscar Tango Hotel Hotel for new destination. Now that's there, selected, arrival, and we'll come back for an ILS runway 34, no stars. There it is. If I zoom in a little bit, there's in white, there's our immediate return back to Doha in case we need to. Coming to RadNav, we've got VORs over Doha, so Delta Hotel Oscar Hotel, select the first one, same there, Doe. Reminds me of Homer Simpson. Doe! Doe! Checking the ILS frequency, it's correct, and the course is correct as well. Init page and init B. Let's get the load sheet up over here, and our zero wheel fuel weight is 59.3 with a CG of 27.9, and our block fuel is 7.1 tons today. Takeoff weight 66.2 tons. Estimating landing weight now 63.6 with an extra fuel of 2.0, 1 hour 1 minute of endurance. Lovely. All right, performance, gonna bring up the performance calculations that we have here. We've got a flaps 1 takeoff with a trim of up 0.1. Flex temperature today is 68 degrees. Speeds are 154
154 for the VR, and 159 for the V2. Thrust reduction and acceleration is going to be 813 on the thrust reduction acceleration, but I'm going to keep the engine out acceleration at 1500 AGL. All right, so that's pretty much it. It's all done, programmed in. Flight plan on the first officer's side, performance on my side, and yeah, we're pretty much good to go right now. So yeah, now it's time to just basically set up the glare shield and do the before start, do the cockpit preparation checklist. We can even do the before start checklist, I believe, and then we're going to get going with the rest of the flight. Okay, I'll continue on in just a second. All right, time to set up the cockpit. I'm in the glare shield. So the first thing we're going to do is our QNH for today is 1008. 1008 on the first officer side and 1008 on the standby instrument as well. Make sure the APU bleed is on, APU is running. I can now get the seatbelt signs going, and I'm gonna switch off the external power, and I'm gonna have ground crew disconnect from there. Parking brakes are on, speed brakes stored, thrust levers are idle, engine masters are off, normal, flap 0. Weather radar and TCAS is on standby and off, parking brakes on. Okay, all good. So we're pretty much done with the glare shield setup. Gonna go arc 10 miles, and now it's time for the cockpit preparation checklist. So gear pins and covers, they're removed and checked. Fuel quantity 7.1 tons, that's set. Seatbelt signs, they are on INDD. And the ADIRSs, they are on nav, all three of them, that's good. And the barrel reference 1008, just reading over, yeah, it's actually 1007 now to be more precise. So just reading under 20 feet there on the altimeter, so that's correct. And initial climb is 3000 for Kuwait, and then we'll get our further climb as we go along. All right, performance on my side, flight plan on the first officer's side, and that's the cockpit preparation checklist completed. And now we turn on the beacon, which is going to get the ground crew to close doors and arm the slides, and then we can do the before start checklist. Yep, while the doors are closing, let's do that checklist. Parking brake is set. The takeoff speeds are inserted: 154, 154, 159, flaps 1, up 0.1, flex temp of 68 degrees, and it's also on the primary flight display. Windows and doors now closed and locked. Slides are armed as well, and the beacon is on. So the before start checklist is complete. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push back and start up the engines, and when I'm ready for taxi, I'll come back to you guys when I'm ready for taxi and to do the after start items and the after start checklist. All right guys, I'll see you soon. Oh, by the way, one more thing before I go back to the other thing. We were requested by a subscriber to fly at night, so that's why today is going to be a night flight. If I didn't mention it before, I'm saying it again right now. So I believe the person's name was Nitin, so thank you Nitin for the comment and for the suggestion. So let's do a night flight today. All right guys, come back to you when I'm ready for taxi. All right, while we're preparing for the pushback, we did have a question in the comments from one of our subscribers, Steve. So Steve, you asked me about the screens changing. All right, now you are absolutely correct that when you are flying, you actually want to keep the pilot flying should have always the performance pages on his screen, while the pilot monitoring has the flight plan pages on his screen. All right, now as you can see on the performance page, now because I'm still on the ground, I haven't started my engines, I haven't taken off yet, this will automatically change as we go through the different phases of flight. Okay, so for example, right now after I've taken off, it will go to the next phase, and you can manually cycle through them if you want to have a look using the bottom LSK keys.
But as of right now, if I'm in any page and I push performance, by default it's going to take me to the takeoff page within the performance screens. All right, and there's my V speeds, my flaps and everything. Now once I've taken off, it goes to the climb phase. All right, which means obviously now I'm climbing and I can adjust all of this as required, the cost index to climb and fly faster, all that stuff. Once I'm done with my climb and I get to my cruise, then this is the page that's going to show up automatically. So if I'm in the cruise, settled in, and I would see Alt Cruise over here, and then Alt, which means now the aircraft FMGS system has gone into cruising mode. Then because I'm in that phase of flight, from wherever I go, when I push this, it will come to cruise. All right, now once I get to cruise, then we have to talk about our descent and the speeds and everything we're going to descend, and also the approach, which is the final page where we put the QNH, the temperature, the winds at the airport we're landing, and as per the charts, what's the minimum altitude and all that kind of stuff. All right, so that's how the phases work, and this will change automatically as we progress through the flight. So I hope that answers your question. We have one more phase, which is a go around phase, basically, where we can choose at what altitude we want the thrust reduction, acceleration, and so on. But in generally, that's what you can expect this screen to do. Okay, and I like to fly with performance, but there's also times when I like to keep progress, where I can keep checking my GPS primary, see if the accuracy is high, my requirement and my actual, and I can also put an airport and runway in there, and I can see my exact direct to bearing distance and stuff like that. So, and I can also check my optimums. So that's kind of how that works for us. So I hope this answers your question, Steve. Thank you so much for the question in the comments. And guys, if there's anything else you want to know in specific, let me know in the comments below. I will reply to every single one of you, even if it takes me 1,000 years. I will reply to you, I promise. So yeah, feel free to ask questions, and then I will get back to you. So Steve, thank you so much for your comment, and hope this answered it, bro. So yep, I'll get back to you guys when I'm ready for taxi. Okay, we've just finished pushback. There's the tug going right away, and now it's time for the after start flow items. So what we do is pilot flying. We'll put the engine's mode selector back to normal, and he comes back up here, checks if APU bleeds on, we turn it off, check if we need anti-ice, we do not, and then turn off the APU master. The pilot monitoring will go ahead and arm the spoilers, reset the rudder trim, set the flap to 1, which is what we're doing today, and we'll also set the trim, which is going to be up 0.1. So there it is, up 0.1, and check status. All systems are normal. And that's the after start flows, and now we can do an after start checklist, which is anti-ice not required, ECAM status checked, pitch trim up 0.1, and the rudder trim is 0. So that's the after start checklist complete. Now all we got to do is do a flight control check very quickly. So on my side stick, I'm gonna go full left, full right, and neutral, full up, full down, and neutral. On the rudders, holding down the rudder disconnect button on the tiller, full left, neutral, full right, neutral. And now as first officer will check his in silence, absolute silence, and then that should do it. We can now essentially get the weather radar on, TCAS can go to auto, altitude reporting on, I'm flying so number 1 on that side, and we'll put TARA later as we get closer to the runway. So now we're gonna just pre-select that and takeoff configuration, and we've got, here we go. For some reason that thing does not want to listen. Alright, never mind. Okay, so takeoff configuration is set, and we've got what do we have here? Okay, taxi checklist. Flight controls checked, flap setting 1+F, radar and predictive wind shear is on and auto, engine mode selector is normal, and the ECAM memo is takeoff no blue. So after the taxi checklist is complete, let's get the taxi light on,
and the runway turn off on, and I'll keep the strobes in auto as well. Okay, time to taxi. I'll get back to you guys when I'm at the runway. As a taxi route, we're gonna take Echo 1, which is straight ahead, make a left over there, and then we're gonna join taxiway Charlie, go all the way down to the end at Alpha. We're gonna make a left onto the runway, and then we're off. All right, guys, get back to you when I'm just ready for takeoff. All right, see you soon. All right, just taxiing away down on taxiway Charlie. I love flying at night. So thank you, Nitin, for the suggestion, because 21 years I've been flying and I absolutely love flying at night. It's I don't know, it's something so rewarding. I mean, look up there, you see the stars and you see the lights of the city. It's just a different experience flying at night, and I absolutely enjoy it. So yeah, so we're coming up on here's Alpha 1. Gonna apply some brakes gently. All right, there's Alpha 1, and I'm just gonna go straight ahead, take Alpha, and I'm gonna hold short and do the lineup checklist. In the meantime, I can get this going here. Cabin crew, please be seated for takeoff. Thank you. They're gonna tell me the cabin's ready. I'm gonna go ahead and put the TCAS on. I can even get terrain radar going as well on my side. Alrighty, making our turn. Excellent. Alrighty, so as we creep up closer towards the runway. Alright, so there's runway 34 right identified. Yep. Okay, so I'm just gonna hold short over here, set the parking brakes for now. Gonna put the iPad away, store the tray table. Tray table stowed, iPad away, and more or less we're pretty much ready to go. So the lineup checklist will be takeoff runway 34 right confirmed, TCAS is TA and RA, and the packs, they're gonna stay on for this takeoff. So that pretty much sets up everything for the takeoff. So now all that's left to do is to line up and get going. All right, time to go. Let's get the strobes there in auto. Landing lights can come on now, and the nose light to take off, and parking brake released. Give it a little bit of power, about 30%, and we're on tiller, and it's time to get the aircraft onto the runway. Clear on the left, clear on the right, nothing on TCAS. So yeah, so far so good. Okay, runway 34 right is identified, and look at that, just look at that view, amazing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time to go to Kuwait. All right, hand on side stick, little forward pressure, going to set 50% on the takeoff thrust, and okay, stabilize. So click and click. Manflex, start the chrono. Manflex 68 SRS runway auto thrust blue. Using the rudders, we're going to keep that forward pressure on the side stick and just use the rudders to keep us in the middle as best I can. There's 100 knots, centralize the stick. V1 and rotate. Here we go. Okay, right onto the flight director, climbing away. We've got nav, positive rate of climb, landing gears coming up. And we're coming up on our, yep. So we're coming up to Atbib, and at Atbib we'll make a right-hand turn. So I'm just gonna follow the flight director, and there's Doha disappearing into the night. Can take my feet off the rudders now. I've got leave a climb flashing there, so click and thrust climb, climb, auto thrust white. Very nice. A little down just to keep it on flight director. Coming up with the Doha Marina. We've got S speed on the speed tape, so speed check and flaps up. When we do that, we disarm this, and the two outer lights can go off as well. And now we start our turn, just to the right a little bit, following the flight director. Always try to move at the same speed. Okay, less than 1,000 to go. Let's assume they've cleared us to flight level 210, so we're going to put 210 in there, and we're going to push, and that's got our managed altitudes in there. We have a constraint of 4,000, so it's going to follow according to that. And yep, I'm just going to hand fly the aircraft all the way to 10,000. So we do have a constraint over at the next waypoint, which is a ravine. Yep, there's a 4,000 foot constraint over there. So we're just leveling off there to pass that, and then once we pass it, then we can continue on our climb. But let's assume ATC has cleared us to continue with our climb. Okay, so I'm gonna go, instead of managed, I'm gonna go pull, and we've got thrust idle, open descent, open climb, I'm sorry, and 210 blue. So now we start to bring the nose up, and we go ahead with our climb. Just gonna work on that, centering that thing over there. And as you can see, it takes so little to fly the Airbus. If I was in any other aircraft by now, I'd be pulling and trimming and moving, and every single little change I make, I would have to trim, which is good, which is fun. You know, it's like driving a manual car, but it's night, and I want to make sure this technology is helping me out, so that's why I prefer the Airbus. But you know, to each his own. So if there's any Boeing fans out there, hey guys, have fun and fly your Boeing. I fly the 737 as well. I train people on the 737 as well, DNG, and it's a beautiful plane to fly. But hey, over here, me happy. All right, so I'm getting close to just crossing 7,000 now, and I'm gonna get the autopilot on. And then we're gonna go ahead with the we're gonna go ahead and do the 10,000 checks as soon as we're done. So we're climbing right now at 2,500 feet per minute, as you can see right over there. Look at that, city lights. Alright, climbing at 2,500 feet a minute. We've got 9,000 for 10,000. So, yeah. And if I come over here to the progress page and I look, it says my optimum is going to be 35,000, flight level 350. I've got 300 miles to go. So, I'm going to take that into consideration. I'm actually going to go to 350. So, I'm going to set 350 over here. And I'm going to pull. Alright, so we've got 350 blue, and we just crossed 10,000, so 10,000 checks. Main landing lights go off if the weather is good, and it always is here in the Middle East. Seatbelt signs off. Airports come down to the RadNav page. Make sure the VORs are auto tuning, and we come to secondary flight plan and copy active, and come back to performance. And as you can see, right now we're in the climb page. So from wherever I am, if I come to performance, the performance page by default comes to the current page that it thinks we should be looking at, and that's pretty much how it is. So yeah, gonna just monitor the climb right now and get up to cruise, and you guys know what time it is. That is correct. Coffee time. Every time I push that button, she comes in and punches me in the face. So yeah, I'm gonna basically grab my coffee. You guys go do the same. I'll see you when we're at cruise, and when we're getting close to top of descent, and we're gonna do the briefing for the approach, check the weather, get the briefing for the approach, and then we'll basically take it from there. We're gonna be flying pretty much right along this coastline over here, which is gonna take us past Saudi Arabia, and then onwards onto Kuwait, heading north. All right. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you soon. Enjoy your meal and enjoy your coffees. Okay, we've been cruising for about 26 minutes, coming on 27 minutes, and we just reached our cruising altitude of flat level 350. We're right over the border right here, just at the coastline, and yeah, now it's time for us to get ready to do the approach briefing and check the weather, and then see if we can continue with the approach as planned, or whether we need to change that. So I'm gonna go back into briefing mode right now, flight plan mode, and we're just gonna get all that information we need, and then come back into the cockpit and just basically initiate it all. All right, coming up on my 100-mile marker around Kuwait, which I drew. So I need to get all this done. It's crunch time. Need to get all this approach stuff prepared, ready, and then we're gonna come back and initiate it. All right, see you guys at the approach briefing. Alrighty then, it's that time of the flight where we start doing our descent and approach briefing. All right. First thing I want to do is check the weather. So the weather right now in Kuwait is winds are 340, 20 knots, cab okay conditions, temperatures 41 with a dew point of 5, and the QNH is 1008. No significant change expected. All right, so that's the weather. So winds are favoring 340, which works out very well for the runway that we had in mind. So if we come over to airports and we go to Oscar Kilo Kilo Kilo, put it over there, then we were expecting to do a star today, and the star is going to be the Deputy 3 Charlie. All right, so in stars, Deputy 3 Charlie is right over there, and so let's see here. Deputy 3 Charlie, it's plate number 10-2 Alpha, effective 23rd of February, RNAV star into Kuwait. All right, so Deputy 3 Charlie begins at over here, Deputy, where we have to be at 3,000 feet or higher. All right, and then from there, as you can see right over here, we're going to go along to a waypoint called Pedal, where we have to be 3,000 and then descend to 2,500, and then from there we're going to go on to either Ginbi or Ravra. All right, so this is where it's going to split to either go to runway 33 left. So if you take Ravra, you're going to 33 left, and if you take Ginbi, you're going to 33 right. That's why you have the split. So given that there, if we come over to the approach page and we come up to ILS Zulu 33 right, as you can see, it starts at the VOR, ironically, but we can do a direct in. Okay, the approach actually starts at the VOR. Interesting. Okay, so if you like, we can go ahead and we can actually go to the VOR and come around. So yeah, so basically from Ginbi, all right, 2,500, we're gonna head out towards the VOR. That's the plan.
All right, 3,000. So we'll maintain 3,000 feet. Direct to the Kilo Uniform Alpha VOR, Kuwait VOR. And then we're going to make a turn to 125 degrees outbound, descending to 2,400 feet, where we'll then make a right-hand turn to intercept. That's about 12 miles away from the VOR, D12.1 from the VOR. Make a right-hand turn, descending down to 2,000 feet, where our final approach fix is Foxtrot India 33 right, which is over there. 5.6 miles from touchdown. Start a 3-degree descent down to our minimums for the ILS, which today is going to be 405 feet. Yeah, so that's pretty much the approach we're going to be doing today. So directly from there, we're going to go over to the Kuwait VOR, and then we're going to turn, come back around. Okay, so 3,000, then 2,400, and then down to 2,000. Okay, and then in case of go around, so in case of missed approach, climb straight ahead, 2,400 feet, climbing right turn to 5,000, heading 135 degrees to intercept the radial 090 Kilo Uniform Alpha to Ludim. All right, and then once we get to Ludim, we pretty much can go into a hold until ATC clears us back again via a 15 DME arc, and then we can try the approach again. So that's the flight plan. And when we land, we're going to be landing on runway 33 right, which is a nice long runway, 11,483 feet. That's plate number 10-9 for you guys. And we can exit over at Echo 5. So literally, I'm going to use no auto brakes today, or I'll use low auto brakes, but I'll disengage them. I'll definitely be able to exit by Echo 4. If not, I'll exit at Echo 5, and there's my GoPro shouting at me. And at Echo 5, we can take a turn onto Echo 9, and then Echo 9 we go to Whiskey 17, where we could, on the western apron, where we can park over at gate number 5. We'll take gate number 5. All right, so that's the plan. Gate 5 via Echo 9, Whiskey 17. All right, that's the plan. Now let's get back in the cockpit and initiate all of this. I'll see you guys back in the cockpit. Okay, let's program in our approach, shall we? So first thing I want to do is a quick calculation. So we are currently 35,000 feet, flight level 350, and as per the briefing, we want to descend down to 3,000. Okay, so if we do some very quick math, 35 minus 3 would be 32, right? And 32 times 3, that's going to be 61. Oh, hang on a second. 35,000 feet minus minus 3 is going to be 32. 32 times 3 is going to be 96. So about 96 miles from Kuwait is when we want to start our descent. So I've already put a ring which is 100 miles around Kuwait over there. Okay, in fact, let me get some lights going. Dome. Yay, I can see now. Okay, so I've already put a 100-mile ring around around Kuwait. So what I can do now is I'm going to basically, once I get closer to that ring, I'm just going to turn that off so I can see it more clearly. There's no terrain to be concerned about, so it's fine. And yeah, then we're going to start our descent. All right, so what I'll do is I'll do that a little bit later. So now coming back here, we're going to do the hat. So we go to the flight plan page. We're going to go Oscar Kilo Kilo Kilo. Arrival, I've already chosen 33 right. I'm going to go via, and I'm going to go via the Kilo Uniform Alpha VOR. If I come over to plan mode and zoom in a little bit, and so 33 right on the Deputy 3 Charlie via the Kilo Uniform Alpha VOR, insert it. So now as we cycle through, we can see that it does take us to waypoint name Pedal. From Pedal we go to Ginby,
And from Ginby we go over to the Kilo Uniform Alpha VOR, and then from there we're gonna basically go all the way around right there and then come back in for our landing. Okay, now in terms of the constraints, so from Pebble, in fact if I look over here, I'm going to remove anything else. So essentially I just want to streamline this. So I'm going to remove Ginby. You see Pedal has got 3000. Okay, we're gonna make, so it's 3000 there. Ginby's got 2500. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to essentially remove Ginby, remove the discontinuity, all right, and insert it. So now from Pedal we're going straight to the Kilo Uniform Alpha. We'll maintain 3000, and then after that we'll start our descent down to 2400. So that's looking good for us here. Now on the rad nav we do have Kilo Uniform Alpha over there. I'm gonna choose that Kilo Uniform Alpha over there as well. Choose the first one. ILS is 110.5. Let me double check here. Yep, 110.5. India Kilo India Delta is identified. 331 degrees. It's actually 332 as per the charts. So okay, we'll keep it like that. That's fine. All right, then progress all set. GPS primary high, accuracy high, everything set there. Performance, we're going to go to the next phase. 1008 is the QNH, and as per the weather, the temperature there is 41 degrees. The winds are 350 at 18 knots right now, and our decision height for the ILS is going to be 405. Put it there for the barrel, and it's cross check over there as well, and we're getting closer to our 100 miles. So now it's time to dial 3000 in here. Go to thousands, make it 3000, and as soon as we hit that, yep, we're right on it. So now push. All right, thrust idle, descent 3000 blue. We're going down to below transition, so QNH 1008, QNH 1008 set there and on the standby, and we're descending. All right, now we continue on with this, and we can also get the seatbelt signs going now. No more toilet for you. Okay, all right, let's go. Okay, so we're doing a hat, right? So performance, we're done with all of this. So now we can come to flight. The fuel prediction, landing weight is going to be 64 tons when we get there, so it's fine. We've actually saved quite a bit of fuel thanks to a tailwind. And secondary flight plan, copy active. That's it. That's basically the approach. Runway is good and long, so auto brakes low for this landing today, and that pretty much does it. So now that we've officially started our approach into Kuwait, we can now go ahead and do the approach checklist, which is barrel reference 1008 set and set, crossing 2700. And now we've got seat belts, they are on, minimums are set right over there. Auto brakes low selected, and engine mode selector is normal. So that's the approach checklist done. All that's left to do now is capture the ILS and land. So I'll get back to you when we're just about to overfly the airport and come in for our landing. See you guys soon. All right, coming up on 10,000 feet. So we're pretty much right on our profile as we should be. There's our flight plan right over there, and then in and out, and then again all the way back to the runway. Okay, so just below 10,000 right now, so landing lights can come on. Constraints, I turned on the ILS for both of us as yep, and everything's looking good. Seatbelt signs are already on, and yeah, pretty much the lights of Kuwait coming into view right now. We're just flying right over this area over here, and yep, now all that's left to do is get to the VOR and do the approach. So I've done the approach checklist, thrust idle, and all good. And coming back to performance, we're now in our descent phase. I've already pre-filled everything. It's asking me for more drag as we fall short of the as we're a little bit high, but I'm just going to give a little bit, just a little bit of speed brake. That'll help it catch up, because as we got below 10,000 it had to decelerate from over 300 knots to 250. So that's why sometimes it needs a little help catching up. So as you can see right now, it's catching up back to our profile. If we come to the progress page, you can see we're just 50 feet, less than 50 feet now above where we should be. So it's looking absolutely fine. We're on profile. Can store the speed brakes back down again. Excellent. All right, there is the outskirts of Kuwait. Very soon you'll be seeing the airport and the rest of the city, and we'll be landing. All right. Catch you guys over there. Alrighty then, Kuwait. I can actually see the lights of the runways in the distance over there, which is one of the good things about flying at night. If it's a clear day, you get to see the runway from far away. I can actually make out 33 right and 33 left over there. If you can't see it yet, don't worry, you will. We're just coming up on pedal, just under 1.5 miles for pedal, coming up on 3,000, which is our estimated turn. So I'm now gonna set what's the descent that we have to get to. It's 2,000, so I'm gonna put 2,000 over here and managed. Okay, speed all constrained 3,000. Aircraft is gonna maintain that for us. It's a managed descent. We're now inbound to the Kilo Uniform Alpha, to the Kuwait VOR. Okay, that's what's happening right now. So we're inbound to that, and we have 38 track miles to go. All right, in case you want to know how much track miles. So the difference, okay, if we were to go directly to the airport, okay, we're 14.1 miles. Now the difference between direct miles and track miles, it says 37. So basically from here straight to the airport is going to be 14 miles. All right, right there. But because I'm going to go here, then go here, then go here, then come back here, all this is going to be 37 miles. All right, hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, I do apologize. But yeah, so we've got 36 now track miles to go. So yeah, all we got to do is just basically keep the aircraft flying on this path, and then establish ourselves on the ILS, and we're done. So as of right now, I've pretty much done everything that I can. All that's left for me to do now is to do the landing checklist, but that's once everything's pretty much set up and the aircraft is fully configured. And yeah, right over Kuwait at night. So yeah, let's see how this works out for us. So Steve, if you're watching, I hope this answered your question about the performance page. So basically it's when you now push, now that we're in the descent, all right, and we're in the approach phase, when you push performance, you're going to see descent. Now once you come to descent, you either can fly through, you see this little magenta D over here, all right, that's a deceleration point. If the aircraft goes along the way and flies through that, the aircraft will automatically activate the approach phase, and it will then go into the approach phase. All right, but if I want to manually activate the approach phase, then I have to come to performance, push, and then confirm, and then it goes into approach phase. Approach phase is, as of right now, the aircraft is maintaining high speed, about 250 knots and so on. Okay, now the minute you activate the approach phase, then it's going to take you and try to maintain, with the flaps at 0, it will maintain a clean speed of 214, which will allow you to start deploying the flaps. So if you're flying through a deceleration point, then what's going to happen is it's automatically going to activate the approach phase. If I need to activate the approach phase earlier than that, or if I'm not flying in nav and I'm flying a head-in, then I have to activate the approach phase manually. Okay, so that's how that works, guys. Let me know if you have any questions based on what I've just told you and you need more explanation. Let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to explain. Yep, there's the airport right there, guys. So 33 oh yeah, 33 right over there, 33 left over here. So we're gonna swing around and then over the VOR, which is just over at the northern tip of the airport, come around and then descend. So once we hit Kilo Uniform Alpha, the aircraft is going to start descending to 2,400 feet, and from there down to 2,000 again. So I've put 2,000, but because we're in managed, and if you want to see the difference between selected and managed, then I do have a video which I will link in the description below for you guys. But as of right now, we're in manage mode, so even though I put 2,000, it's following the constraint of 3,000 at the VOR, so it's keeping us at 3,000. The minute we're away from that and the constraint doesn't exist anymore, it's going to automatically just descend down to the altitude we want. All right. Yeah. So I've been in here, we've been flying for 52 minutes and counting. Not bad. You could be in here for 10 hours and time will just fly right by. Okay, making the turn right over the airport. Dubai, Qatar, Kuwait, all of these cities are just so brightly lit at night. It's insane. I mean, look at the skyline of Kuwait right down there. Amazing. One of the richest countries in the Middle East as well, with a very, very powerful currency. My buddy Kivinas, if you're watching, we'll be waiting for your interesting facts about Kuwait. All right. So yeah. So yep, making the turn out. I'm gonna go 360 here on nav. Yep, gonna start the turn and then we'll fly through the deceleration point. We're currently 18 track miles to go, more drag required. Actually, I can disregard that because our speeds are doing okay for now. Maintaining 3,000 now. As we go outbound to a distance of 12, we'll come down to 2,400 and then 2,000. So the aircraft should start a right-hand turn. Okay, thrust idle descent, 2,400 blue, the next constraint. Aircraft is descending, and our we have a deceleration point right over there. But since I'm next to 15 track miles, I'm just going to go ahead and activate the approach phase now, confirm, and now performance is in the approach phase. All right. So as you can see, the aircraft is no longer trying to maintain 250. It's going to slow down to the green dot speed over here, which is our minimum clean speed, Alt star. And then when I deploy the flap, it's going to go to the next speed and the next speed until it gets to our approach speed of 139. Okay, so pretty much ready to go. So we're less than 15 miles out. It's time to start configuring. So speed all constraint. All right, speed checked and flaps 1. Flaps are in transition. All right, it's now going to slow us down to our S speed, which is our S speed today is calculated at 190 knots right over there. Okay, so 190. Cool. Looking good. So we're going to go out about 12 miles from Kilo Uniform Alpha as planned. We're currently 8.7 miles out from the Kuwait VOR. I'm going to make a turn, loop around, come back in, and land. Glide slope is coming in as well. 110.5, which is cross-checked. India Kilo India Delta is confirmed as well. So everything's looking good right now. Go around altitude. The final go around altitude today is gonna be 5,000. So as soon as we're on the glide slope, I'll set 5,000 over here. Okay, coming up on the next waypoint where we'll start the turn back towards the ILS. I'm gonna go flaps 2 now in preparation. Let the aircraft slow us down. It's gonna slow us down now to our F speed, which is 145. Descent 2000 blue. Aircraft's coming down, and we're gonna start our descent. 12 miles right on the dot. We're gonna start the turn very, very soon. Alright, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go selected over here, and I'm gonna maintain a speed of 160 until established on the localizer and glide slope. Here we go, turning back towards the airport. As we start the turn, let it continue on its descent. Alright, thrust idle, open descent, 2000 blue. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and manage our speed. Let it slow it down to what it thinks is best, F speed. And at the same time, I can also go ahead and arm the localizer and glide slope and the second autopilot. So approach, second autopilot, speed all star, cat 3 dual, autopilot 1+2, GS lock blue. So we're pretty much ready to intercept. In fact, let me come back to selected speed again. Don't want to die of old age before landing. So actually I'm going to come up to 170. I'll maintain 170 knots selected until I'm ready for the final approach. 2,000 feet, that's it. So at 2,000 feet AGL, you get the landing memo. Alright, so I can actually go ahead and fully configure the aircraft now and then and do the landing checklist, because the landing checklist, the item on the landing checklist is the landing memo. So I already got that, so that qualifies me to do the landing checklist, but not yet. I still need to make sure this aircraft captures the localizer and brings us in correctly. Gonna put the lights off for a nighttime landing. Spooky. Actually, not spooky. Romantic. we'll stick to that. Alrighty. From Kuwait, we'll be going over to Baghdad in Iraq. And that's going to be an interesting one. So yeah, stay tuned for that one coming up next. And again, any suggestions you guys have, I'm more than happy to take it. I mean, look, someone suggested fly at night, here I am, flying at night. Someone asked for a VOR approach, I did a VOR approach. Alright, so anything you guys want to know, this channel is yours, it belongs to you. I'm doing this for you guys, alright? And I'm having a ball while doing it, doing what I love. So you guys let me know. Your ideas are gold. So yeah, let me know what you want to see in the next videos, and I will happily do it for you. Alright, glide slope is alive. When the glide slope is 1 bar above center, I'm gonna go ahead and get gear down, flaps 3, and so on and so forth. There's the airport right over there. Alright, glide slope is 1 bar above, gears coming down, and I can manage my speed now. Alright, gears extending, turning, we should get lock star very soon. Okay, gears out, so flaps 3, arm the speed brake, these 2 lights can come on, and the cabin crew, please be seated for landing. We got flaps 3 green as well, flaps full, We got the glide slope also. We can set now 5,000 for the go around, and we're gonna do the landing checklist, which is ECAM memo, landing, no blue items, landing checklist complete, and we are pretty much ready to go on our landing. All right, just waiting for that. All right, we got lock, looking good there. And it's time to land. Everything done, everything set. Autopilot's coming off. Runway's inside as well.
$1,000.
1,000 is checked. Winds are 321, 24 knots, so mercifully it's in the right direction, just a little strong.
$500.
Checked.
$400.
Land.
300. 100 above.
Slightly
200.
high, correcting.
Minimum
Continue.
100.
Glide slope. Glide slope.
Disregard.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard.
Engines are retarded.
5.
Alrighty. Okay, spoilers, reverses green, and decel. Alright, hand on tiller. Okay, we're 60 knots, idle reverse. Gonna set the auto brakes off, let the aircraft just roll. And I wanna take the Echo 5 exit. So I believe this is Echo 4. We're gonna take the next one. Just gonna roll along the runway and let it just do its thing. Alright, so Echo 5 onto Echo 9 and then down to Whiskey 17. That's the plan. Sweet. Alright, here's Echo 5. Okay, exiting the runway. Landing lights go off, nose light to taxi, strobes at auto, and I can go ahead and just start cleaning up the aircraft now. Over to ground frequency, so disarm the speed brakes, and flaps go up. TCAS goes to standby, off and standby. And the weather radar goes to off, and we're gonna go ahead and start the APU master and start. Okay, we want Echo 9. There we go, Echo 9 just coming up on the left over there, straight towards the gate. Beautiful, we're on Echo 9, that's confirmed. And I can go ahead and do the after landing checklist. So after landing checklist, radar and predictive wind shear should be off. Radar, predictive wind shear off. After landing checklist complete. Let's get the gates up here as well so I can see which way I'm going. Gate number 5 at Whiskey 17. Can turn off the FDs and the landing screens as well. Amazing. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and for those of you who are watching this channel for the first time, if you are not subscribed, I highly request if you could consider liking and the video and subscribing to the channel. It would really mean a lot to us, and let us know your thoughts on the video in the comments below. And here we are, guys. Welcome to Kuwait International at Kuwait City. So Whiskey 17 is coming up on the right, and there's gate number 5. So slowing it down a bit. I take the turn, and you got passengers. I got the APU bleed going now. I got passengers already standing in the back as usual, so gotta be careful on the brakes. Gonna make the turn, so landing lights go off so we don't blind the marshaller. Imagine do that and then do that, and then he's like, ah, my eyes. Alrighty, gonna line it up over here. Jack, let's go use the brakes, and we have wheel stop, parking brake on. Right, okay, so APU is running. So engine number, let's get the dome lights on. Okay, engine 1 off, engine 2 off. Watching for the N1 to drop. That's the bus system transferring over. Alright, both are below 10%. Alright, beacon off, seatbelt signs off, and fuel pumps can go off as well. Cruise supply off as well. They'll open the doors now shortly. Alrighty, parking checklist. Parking brakes and chocks, they're on, and engines are off, wing lights are off, fuel pumps are off. That's the parking checklist. Welcome everyone to Kuwait International Airport. Guys, thank you so much for watching. For those of you who enjoyed the video, please hit a like. For those of you who are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And thank you so much for watching right through to the end. Guys, I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video where we go over to Baghdad in Iraq. It's been a pleasure flying with you today. Have a wonderful day. God bless all of you. Thank you and bye-bye.